I'm in your corner, friend. I'm in your corner.
Hello, mommies. My name is Sheyla. I'm Puerto Rican born, Florida raised, and now currently living in Germany, way further north than my Caribbean ass thought I would be residing. I live here with my big, hairy German husband and our soon-to-be one-year-old son. We are not okay. I'm a sign language interpreter by profession, so you can see a lot of hands. You don't get these hands. An artist by passion, and a mom by purpose.
As far as like your healing journey, and what did you do to prepare yourself into motherhood?
So I would say that my healing journey, what I consider a healing journey, started even before my motherhood journey. I started through travel, solo travel, meditation, kind of like a spiritual journey. And I did start therapy at one point, just on my own, by my own accord. But it was through that journey that I kind of started questioning the conditioning that we as women all get. We understand, we know the pressure. Society says women is a mother, period. And I really started challenging that within myself. And that's when I kind of took my healing intentionally, because I started to ask and wonder if I really did want to become a mother and why I wanted to become a mother. I became very clear about the fact that I did not want to make that decision to become a mother from a space of only having the desire. I needed more from that answer. So that's really when my healing started. And I, started going more regularly to therapy, getting into like the shadow work and into the, childhood work with the aim and the goal of becoming essentially like a clean slate. I wanted to be that safe space for a future potential child that at the time I wasn't sure I would or would not have. And that's kind of where it started for me. And that's essentially, I guess, what gentle parenting is. Do not quote me on that. I'm not like well-versed on the topic. I told you, I don't know shit about shit. My understanding of gentle parenting is acknowledging that our children are autonomous and we raise and respect them in that sense, within reason. But that's essentially what it is. And that's how I've kind of implemented it in my parenting. And it's how it came full circle for me. The healing is what brought me to motherhood, and the motherhood is what has brought me the greatest lessons that I've had in my life.
All of that preparation, right? All of the things that you wanted to work on, what does that look like? Like, I am more prepared now. Or is it like, shit, I'm not prepared at all?
That was exactly it. I feel like once I felt ready, right? I'm all prepared. I know my triggers. I know how to recognize them. I know how to regulate. Let's go. Let's reproduce. The second that I had my son, shit hit the fan. Everything was out the window, retracted, reversed, whatever you want to call it. Back to childhood, back to all the traumas, back to all the fears, instantaneously. Becoming a mother brought up so much more that I think I would have never been able to even tap into with all the therapies, with all whatever journey I decided to take. There is just something I would have never tapped into if I didn't become a mother. You could argue, okay, if you didn't become a mother, then you'd be good, you'd be chill, right? But because I chose to be a mother, tapped into these even deeper wounds I didn't know existed. But then that was the beauty of it all, is I already had the foundation, how to deal with it, how to face it, manage it in a sensible way, how to give myself grace and self-parent, essentially. That was important for me to have, because as a mother, when you become a mother, it all comes rushing in. It all hits so hard, so sensitively, so deep, that if I didn't have those tools, I don't know where I would be today.
So you're never going to know what that experience is going to be like until you are living through that experience. So something as soon as you give birth to a baby, that's the first thing that you're focused on, is the breastfeeding. Can we talk a little bit about your breastfeeding journey?
Remember those lessons I was telling you that came on strong? Breastfeeding for me has been the hands down most challenging aspect of motherhood, most challenging experience of my entire life. It doesn't matter how much reading I did, how many courses I took. It doesn't matter that I had a midwife pre and postpartum. It doesn't matter that my literal best friend herself is a breastfeeding consultant. I was on the phone with her 2 days ago trying to figure out this weaning process. It doesn't matter the team that I had here to support me. Nothing that could have prepared me for the complexity that is breastfeeding and the effort that it takes to successfully breastfeed. The effort it takes for a newborn to learn how to breastfeed is underestimated. I had no idea. And that was what was most shocking to me. 2 weeks after my son was born, I was hospitalized with mastitis, both breast infected. I was in the hospital for 5 days, being administered antibiotics and pain meds around the clock. It was my lowest point. It was my numbest point. Like, it's something I'm clearly still processing. And it wasn't the only time I got mastitis. Shortly after that, I got it again. Fortunately, it was less severe, so I was able to manage it. But even with having a whole team around me, which is a blessing to say, because I know it's different in different countries, and I know from experience in the United States, this is just not the kind of support you can get easily. Even still, I could not understand how something so natural could be so difficult. And that's really when it became very clear to me that motherhood is so specifically, so microly unique to each and every individual mother and child dynamic, period. Google can tell you everything under the sun that you can do as a mother, but the one thing it cannot tell you is what you know as a mother. And my breastfeeding journey gave me that confidence, gave me that trust in my instinct, basically let me know that I am the perfect mother for this child. And I know what's best for us. We know what's best for us.
So we made it through the struggle and
Yeah.
you're still going through. Do you have an end goal?
Apart from me kind of trying to attempt it recently, I've realized, okay, no, what I've always wanted, what I've always known is that for me and my child in our journey, he's going to be ready. When he's ready, I'm ready, we're ready, and it's that.
You have your son who's exclusively breastfeeding, right? And the demand, it's like, whenever I need it, here you go, right? Because you're there, you're available. So what are you doing to make effort for self-care?
Fortunately, my husband is currently on paternal leave. So we have a lot of time together. Like, my son is about to be a year old. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting around my time with him. This whole year I've been on maternity leave and I've spent a lot of time with him. And I've willingly really dove into motherhood and really gave it my all. And I'm okay with that because it was what we needed. I believe it's what benefited us. Like, it was the time for that. But I can understand that now things have to shift. And it's time for me to prioritize myself, my well-being, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, all of it. It's time for me to share that load. I started a challenge that requires you to kind of start a morning routine. So I've been taking time every morning for myself. I hydrate, I read, I journal. And it's been a week and I've already seen huge impact on my mood, my energy, overall well-being. It's so effective. The requirement is 10 minutes, but I'm over here 15, 20, who's counting? Almost, until I'm needed, until I hear it, I'm here. It's been interesting to let go of the idea that I'm needed 24/7. I'm so used to it after a year. It's been tough, but I'm very excited for what's to come.
As a unit, what exactly do you feel that you need for your partner, for your family, for your relationship?
I would say my well-being. I would say my well-being is priority at this point, not only because of how it'll benefit me greatly, again, the mood, the emotions, the mental stability, all of that, for my relationships with my partner, my relationship with my son, our dynamic as a whole. I also think for their independence, it's essential for all of us. It's essential that I start stepping back and sharing the load.
How has it been navigating motherhood while living abroad?
Even though I've built this incredibly beautiful life that I'm so blessed to live here, truly, it's been an ongoing, difficult, emotional, spiritual, mental journey for me. Migration in and of itself comes with so much to carry, so much to bear, so much loss. That's my experience as a willing migrant, which I think it's important to acknowledge. I moved with a partner who's native to this country, who has the native language of the country that I'm moving to. It makes a huge difference to have that kind of support. And it's not the same across the board. Again, I just think that's important to acknowledge in today's society where we so poorly treat immigrants. But then in terms of starting a family abroad, I think I really underestimated what that would bring up for me. Like halfway through pregnancy, it kind of just hit me so hard that I'm the sole person responsible for half of my son's cultural identity. And who the hell am I? Like, I'm Puerto Rican born, but American educated with textbook Spanish knowledge. Like, is that enough to really give that sazon to my child? You know, like, I mean, I can laugh about it now, but it was intense. I would stay up at night, like considering all the really heavy questions, like what language am I going to speak to my son so that he can communicate with both sets of maternal and paternal grandparents? How are we going to split the holidays? Where are we going to spend our firsts when both our families live thousands and thousands of miles away? There was so much guilt around me feeling like I'm taking away my parents' grandson from them or my brother's only nephew away from him. So this is super heavy as of today. I mean, it's in our conversations almost daily when we make any decisions for our family. In addition to everything that comes with new motherhood, it's really a both and, because there's so much beauty and positivity and blessings that come with this life that I chose for my family. I chose this for me. I chose it for my family. Being able to see or have my extended family experience the world and come and travel and visit us, creating holidays here that are similar to home, but with a little flash, you know, introducing that to our friends here, seeing how my husband's family embraces and like supports my culture and my language and my decisions as a mom has been so beautiful to experience. I mean, I get asked often if I will consider moving back to the States. And I would say that before my son, I would probably consider it. But interestingly, since my son has been born, and surprisingly to me, the answer has become a hell no, like a hard pass. I don't see myself taking my son away from what I know he could have here. Living in a society that like values children and mothers and families, not only culturally, but supports them systemically, is just priceless. And this is my home. It's my home away from home. Even coming from a culture that so values closeness and community. You know, like I was raised in Puerto Rico where my grandma was across the park and then my aunt was across the street from that. And like, you're just hopping around looking for breakfast wherever, whoever has it, all doors are open, you're coming in and out. Like, to let go of that, to know that my son is not going to have that, it hurts. It definitely hurts.
I want to have you share what you're excited to bring to the community, what you want mothers to take from this, and what you're willing to like offer.
I think what I want to bring to this community and offer is this idea that even though the goal is to work on becoming our best selves, I really would like to bring a focus and kind of like an attention and an appreciation and a support and a celebration to being our better selves. Because it takes a lot to become the best. It takes a lot of pressure to think about being our best selves, right? It's not impossible and it's the goal we want. But on our way there, I think we also need to give ourselves grace, to give ourselves applause, because every day, I know all of us, every single day, there is something that was better than the day before. You grow, you learn, you evolve. And I think it's okay and it's enough to be better each day. You can find me on Instagram, Sheyla Party of One, which I kind of realize now how that's counterproductive to my lifestyle, right? But I mean, it's where I started. I started as a party of one and it got me here. That's my personal page. So you'll find a lot of my son there. You'll find mostly a lot of cultural and like life in Germany and a lot of humor. I do have an art page. It's under construction, but I dive into digital art. yeah, you can find that there as well.
I'm never gonna let you down.